Hello and welcome to The Gas. I'm Gary Gastelou. This is usually the Gary and Alex show, but unfortunately, Alex Nunez could not join us today. On the bright side, though, you can't spell Gastelou without gas, so we're just gonna run with that. But listen, don't worry about it. I'm not gonna sit here monologuing for the entire show because we have a great guest joining us today. We're gonna get right to him. You've probably been hearing a lot of news about Ford sports cars and racing efforts lately. It's been back to the Nürburgring, setting new lap times and records. It's had three races in Formula One now. It's returned to Formula One. And of course, we got the horsepower numbers for the new Dark Horse SC. Joining us now to talk about all that and more, hopefully, our favorite Ford Racing Global Director, Mark Rushbrook. Mark, welcome back to the show.
I'm very happy to be back here.
And you've obviously been very busy. I just mentioned a couple of things you've been up to there at Ford Racing, and there's plenty more of that, no doubt. But let's get to the fun stuff first. Everybody loves the Nürburgring and the Nürburgring times. A couple of years ago, you went there with the Mustang GTD, became the first American car to break the 7-minute barrier. Then you pushed that time down to 6:52 with another lap. Then your friends over at Chevrolet showed up with the 01 and 01X, beat you by a couple of seconds, 649, 650. But now you've been back with a new version of the Mustang GTD called the GTD Competition. And Dirk Mueller, your Ford racing driver, threw down a 640 lap with this car. Tell us what's different about the GTD Competition that makes it that much faster than the original iteration.
Yeah, this has been a great program for us. We love going to the Nürburgring. We love setting some times there. We love the competition, honestly, with General Motors and Corvette. So when they put down a time, full credit to them for what they were able to do. But as you saw, Jim Farley very quickly responded to that and said, "Game on." And that signed us up for this program, which we were excited to take on. But the approach really is, as you need to for any track, any vehicle, approach the basics. And that is looking at power increases, looking at weight reduction, looking at aerodynamics improvements, finding the right balance for downforce and drag given the track, and looking at ultimately tire grip, what the suspension is able to do. And that was the approach for the Mustang GTD competition, was on all fronts, increasing the horsepower, reducing the weight, improving the aerodynamics, and improving the grip. So we had a lot of great people working on that inside of Ford Racing and with our partners at Multimatic, and really excited to see what the team was able to deliver. In all honesty, that time was better than we originally had targeted and expected, but delighted with the results, with all the hard work paying off after so much effort.
GTD has 815 horsepower. You're saying this one has more horsepower. You haven't put out a number yet, though. Is it a lot more? Is it a little more?
It's more.
It's more. And of course, I'm looking at the specifications on all these cars. GTD weighs about 4,300 pounds. Is that right? It's about 600 pounds more than the zero one, which also has 200 more horsepower. But I'm guessing downforce is a big part of this, that you're able to make a car like this go just as fast as that one. On the order of 1,700 pounds of downforce, is this correct? I've heard a number
Yep.
thrown around like that.
On that order. Yep.
So when you went back with the GTD competition, was it more downforce? Was it less drag in the drag reduction system? I know you have the aero wheels as well, the aero disc wheels.
Yeah, the net gain is mostly a downforce gain because of, I mean, yes, there are a lot of straights at the Nürburgring, but there's a lot of time that you spend in the corners. So to be able to carry speed through those corners, that then gets you onto the straight at a higher speed already to begin with, adding downforce always helps. So that was the name of the game.
This car's just really got a ton of potential. Again, just considering what you started with the regular Mustang and turned it into this kind of high performance machine. Is there anything else left in it, or is the GTD competition where we're at now?
Well, as engineers, we always believe there is more in it. But honestly, at this point, with what's been delivered, practically for what the road car is and what we're going to be putting out there on the street, it is an incredible piece, and it's an incredible car. We love Mustang and the platform that we have. we love this full spectrum that we have, from an EcoBoost through a GT, through a Dark Horse SC to Mustang GTD, and now GTD competition. That full spectrum on one platform makes an incredible statement about what Mustang is, what it is to our customers, that really people can choose what is appropriate for them depending on what they're going to do.
As an engineer, what's more fun for you, starting with a blank slate or someone handing you a car and saying, here, make this faster?
Ooh, they're both incredible challenges, right? You always love the blank slate because then you really can make it what it is. You've got the freedom to do what you need to do for that given purpose. But the challenge, it's a much bigger challenge to start with an existing platform and stretch it beyond what it ever was intended for. So to see what Mustang has become, when I think back to 4 years ago when it was started for the Mustang GTD program originally, there were a lot of people inside the company that said you can't make a Mustang customer car do what you're targeting to do. But we certainly did. And that was through the hard work of a lot of great people and partnerships to be able to do that, with come up with all those ideas, with the track width, with the weight distribution, the transaxle, the aero, the unique packaging that was put into it. It's an incredible vehicle. It was an incredible challenge, but really good to see it out there.
You reopened applications for buying the GTD. When exactly will someone be able to get their hands on a GTD competition?
We have not announced the timing for that yet. We're just going through that process now of collecting interest to make sure we fill up the order banks for when it's going to be available. So we'll be releasing that information soon. But we're excited about it because we love the GTD that we have today and all the different packages, but really looking forward to getting this one out there.
Now, that's not the only car you brought to the Nürburgring. You also dug out the old now GT Mark IV track car, which is the track only version of the original 2017 Ford GT supercar. With this, you were able to do a 6:15 lap, the third fastest car ever to lap the Nürburgring Nordschleife, at least among, they don't count competition qualifying laps and that sort of thing. But of the cars on the list, third fastest of all time, fastest American, obviously, and fastest with just an internal combustion engine, no hybrid or electric assist on this thing. This car has been on sale a couple of years now. Had you brought it to the Nürburgring before as part of the development process, or is this the first time you were even there with it?
No, it was the first time, and again, a story of what you can do with existing platforms to stretching them to new levels. Because as you said, the GT platform, it goes back to racing in 2016 to the street version available in 2017. And we had a lot of great vehicles and great additions with it. We had the GT Mark II that was a track only vehicle, and then the GT Mark IV. And it was really, again, stretching an existing platform to even higher levels with horsepower, with aero, with vehicle dynamics. So we love what we have with the GT Mark IV as a track day car. It's an incredible piece of machinery. And we really didn't, I don't think we really saw the opportunity until we were focused with the Mustang GTD and everything that we were doing at the Nürburgring. And we said, well, if we want to truly own the ring, that's important for us. What else can we take? We've gone there with our demonstrators in the past and set some really good times. But when the team came forward and said, why don't we take the GT Mark IV? It was one of those moments like, why didn't we think of this earlier? It's a perfect complement to take it there with the GTD to make efficient use of having that track time and to show what that vehicle is truly capable of. So yeah, incredibly happy to see that 6:15 time and on the scoreboard there for Ford Motor Company.
Can't believe the GT's been around for a decade now. I actually got to go to the launch out at Miller Motorsports Park. It seems like yesterday, but it really is a testament to what a great chassis that car is. Talking about downforce, this one generates 2,400 pounds at 150 and 4,500 at 200 now, and it weighs about 2,700 pounds. Now, anytime I see those numbers, I always think of the fantasy theoretical, this car can actually drive upside down if you could build a track like that. Now I know you got your friends over there at Red Bull now with Formula One. They love making the crazy videos. What do you think about making this attempt to try to drive this thing upside down?
Oh my goodness. That is a debate that this team has had many, many times. That would be a spectacle, and it would make a great video, but practically to pull that off, you're taking a lot of risks and a lot of instability concerns if you're driving on the top of a tunnel. So we'll keep talking about it. We'll keep dreaming about it. I don't know if we're going to see it anytime soon.
I'm picturing a twisty track that goes over water. Okay, so if you fall, maybe it doesn't hurt as bad. And listen, I'm throwing this down. You got to be on the top for 100 feet. You can do 100 feet. I'm going to count that as driving upside down. So that's the American Cars and Racing Challenge to do an upside down car if Red Bull and Ford is ever up for it. So again, you guys are three races into the Formula One season now with the Ford and Red Bull powertrains operation. So far, a lot going on in Formula One. But what's been the biggest surprise? What's the thing you've learned actually in it now that's really kind of jumped out at you like, wow, I didn't expect it to be this way?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the learning was early on, just the absolute pace that Formula One works at, pushing everything to the extreme limit, and the very fast turnaround. So we've been in this strategic technical partnership with Red Bull in developing the power units now. It's 3.5 years already that we've been working together on that power unit, and incredible learning throughout that process. We knew from the beginning what an incredible challenge Formula One would be, and especially as a startup power unit manufacturer, what a tall mountain it would be to climb, even just to get on the track, let alone to be competitive. So we've taken that very seriously with our partnership. We love Red Bull and what we're able to do with them. It was great to get on track with the testing in Barcelona and Bahrain. But when you really know what everybody has, was the first race in Australia and then through China and Japan rounds. So we've learned a lot on track. We didn't expect that we would come on track and be at the front from day one, but that is still our intent. That is our goal. That's where we want to be. That's where Red Bull wants to be. So we've learned a lot in these first three races. Some of that in the power unit, some of that in the vehicle, and truly understanding the rules and what they are, with a energy management that's required. So again, we've learned that. We've already made a lot of changes in the power unit and in the car, and looking forward to getting back on track in Miami. It's a long break, unfortunately, with race 4 and race 5 having been canceled. In many ways, though, that was a blessing to be able to really focus all of the upgrades, the improvements into one race at Miami instead of sprinkling them onto the car in races 4 and 5. So we're looking forward to getting back on track in Miami in just 2 weeks.
Up to this point, have you been able to make mechanical changes to the powertrain, or has it all been software and tuning? Like, do you have to take one of those tokens to make the big changes? How does that work with Formula One?
To make those big changes, yes, but just a lot in the calibration. We've always known that would be, and that's where a lot of where we have focused our resources analytically, and in all the lab testing that we're doing on the engine dyno, hybrid power unit dyno, and full driveline dyno is optimizing that. And there was so much that was learned on track. In conditions, we ran in the rain in Barcelona and learned a lot about those conditions. So that is, we will continue learning there for a long time, and implementing those changes onto the track.
Some big changes coming up from the Miami Grand Prix next week, as far as battery energy harvesting and deployment is concerned. You had this long break, but I guess that just got finalized a couple of days ago. How quickly, how hard is it to implement that? And again, is that all software and tuning, or what exactly do you have to do to meet these new rules that are coming into effect?
About every racing, well, about most racing series, but including here in Formula One and partnership with the FIA. Is it's like that wasn't all done in secret behind closed doors, inside the FIA or inside of Formula One. It was done in partnership with the teams, with the power unit manufacturers. So we've been along for that journey to know, or expect what was coming, to have a voice in what was coming. So it wasn't a surprise to us when it was announced. We knew what was coming, and the team's been preparing for that. So that's part of the sport. It was part of the risk with all new regulations for the car and the power unit coming in together like this. But it is good to see that the sport, with the FIA, with the teams included, have been able to work through changes to help the sport, to help the show, to help the competition, to help the engagement of the drivers, in what they're able to do, what they are doing on track. So it's good to see those roll out. And we'll see how that impacts the racing in Miami coming up here quickly.
I'm going to put you on the spot. Is there going to be a Red Bull or Racing Bulls car on the podium, if not on the top step this season?
Well, that is our goal, of course. We are in Formula One. We are in every motorsport that we're in with the intent to win. That's part of why we chose Red Bull. They have that same intention. So we love partnering with them, and certainly that is the goal, to get the Red Bull cars up front where they belong.
Another motorsport you're going to be getting into next year is the hypercar program in the World Endurance Championship. Bringing this back to the Nürburgring, I'm just wondering, GT Mark IV sells really well. The GTD Mustang sells really well. Could we see a customer version of your hypercar follow that program? I know Ferrari's done that with theirs. Is that something you've got on the table or considering?
Transparently, right now our focus is on the factory car and making sure we get our testing completed successfully this year, homologation, and that we're ready to go racing in 2027. It's an incredibly important program for us. Again, a massive challenge, and doing so much of this work in-house now. So literally here in Dearborn, that's where the engine design has been completed, the first engine build here inside of Ford buildings, on a Ford dyno, a driveline dyno. So much of this work is being done in-house, and it's great to see the team stepping up to that challenge. So we're focused on delivering the factory program at this point. We have considered and will continue to consider whether a customer program makes sense. Certainly nothing to announce at this point, but if and when it makes sense, for us, just like you see us in customer racing with GT3, GT4, Dark Horse R, then of course we would be considering it for this.
And just to talk a little Mustang on the way out the door here as well, Dark Horse SC, you revealed it back in January. We finally have the power rating for its supercharged 5.2 liter V8, 795 horsepower, 660 pound-feet of torque. Now, comparing that to the old Shelby GT 500, which had a version of the same engine, that was 760 and 625, I think. And then, of course, the GTD has another version of this engine. How different are the motors? What'd you do to get to 795? And then how much different is that engine from the one that's in the GTD right now?
The benefit of having so many Mustangs in on the road and on the racetrack is the ability to share that learning. And we do that across Mustangs, whether it's in the baseline architecture, the suspension, the aerodynamics, and especially now the way we're organized inside of Ford Racing, that it's the same team working on the race cars and the road cars, or specifically for powertrains as well. That's all being shared. And that's the benefit of taking that engine, put it into the GTD in a new application, and being able to increase those power levels, and then come along with a Dark Horse SC. So there's that continual sharing again in the hardware, the actual components in terms of what power levels can we deliver to, in the calibration, in the powertrain cooling, the airflow over the car, under the car, through the car for the cooling, to make sure that we deliver on balanced attributes. So I think it's an incredible statement with being able to deliver 795. That's higher than we targeted originally in the program, but I think a great statement of the engineering work that is being done to optimize in every application.
A couple of weeks ago, Chevrolet unveiled the new Corvette Grand Sport. which is usually the trim that marks the end of a Corvette generation. Shelby GT500 was traditionally the vehicle that marked the end of a Mustang generation. Are we going to see something beyond the Dark Horse SC for this seventh generation Mustang, or are we now looking forward to the next one for the next big iteration of Mustang?
Yeah, we love the competition with Corvette on track and off track, so it's great for them to see so many variants coming from them and have that competition with them at the Nürburgring. For us, we've got a lot of great versions of this existing Mustang. I certainly wouldn't say no to any further variants off of the existing platform. That's part of what Mustang is. So we're always looking for what that next product is to bring out to the customer what they're looking for. Everybody wants something different out of their Mustang, me included. So certainly look for more to come.
All right, Mark Rushbrook, Ford Racing Global Director. Always got a lot of fun stuff going on. Can't wait to talk to you again. I'm sure there's more coming later this year.
Always, always. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. We'll talk to you soon. And folks, we'll be talking to you again soon. And when I say we, I mean myself and Alex Nunez, because despite my best efforts, can't seem to keep him off the show. So thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you again on a future episode of The Gas. The Gas is a production of A Car Media and American Cars and Racing.com.